rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending.
Could he take this all the way? Yes! Hurdles his way. Highlight reel. Touchdown.
The Cougars upset the third-ranked team in the country.
Oh, good vibes right there.
Ooh, feeling good.
In the spirit of 100 days away from the first BYU football game, if you could 100% guarantee a win over either Texas or Oklahoma.
It is May 25th.
In the one and only season that BYU gets to play Texas and Oklahoma as conference foes within the Big 12. Jarom, which game are you guaranteeing a win with and why?
Now, Texas is on the road, and there's a lot there. Oklahoma is at home, and it is senior day.
A ton there.
Night, we think. Woo, there's a lot. I think it's Texas. I would take either, but I would take Texas because of the brand, because of Matthew McConaughey, because of the 2013 and 14 games. Keep that going. Let's make up some rivalries that don't exist.
Okay.
Bijan Robinson versus Tyler Algier.
Okay.
Longhorn Network versus BYU TV. None of these rivalries exist. We're making it up. The preseason pick to win the Big 12 by most accounts. Perhaps the team that is always hyped the most preseason. If we think get hyped, it's Texas. Always expected to be good. The fact that BYU has been so good against both is also interesting. Cougar Stats says BYU combined 6-1 against Texas and Oklahoma. Of all the teams who have faced these two at least 7 times, BYU has the highest winning percentage in college football history. Notre Dame second at 78%, BYU 86%. I would take Texas. Honestly, I would take both.
Okay.
Dude. I would take both.
Oh, yeah.
Like either is what I mean. I'm hoping BYU gets 1. I don't want 0-2. 2-0 feels like too much. I will take 1-1 right now, and the one I would take is Texas. That is going to be such a huge game in late October. My birthday's 2 days later. All I want for my birthday is a win at Texas.
There is no wrong answer here because both of the wins would be massively important and impactful for BYU. And they're games that BYU will not be favored in. So when you go into a season and, odds makers are looking at these games, they're just chalking those up as losses. So that's like stealing one back, right? All of the reasons you gave for BYU beating Texas, I agree with. And I want the PTSD to continue for Texas's fan base against BYU, where it's like, oh my gosh, we can't beat those guys.
I went to the spot. Last weekend on Saturday, I was at the hurdle spot, and I was like, oh man, this is it. Like, could Keaton Slovis be doing something right here this year? Could Aiden Robbins? Could all these guys? Like, could Keanu Hill? Yeah. There's some PTSD, even though it's been 10 and 9 years, respectively.
If I have to lean one direction, and this is based primarily on the fact that it would be a late November win, and maybe BYU would need it for bowl eligibility. You get Oklahoma, it's senior night. Oh my gosh, if I could guarantee that all of the BYU seniors leave LaVell Edwards Stadium with just an epic win over a huge brand in Oklahoma, then I'm probably leaning in that direction. And Oklahoma's projected to win 9, maybe 10 games.
They always
this year.
will be, even though last year they stunk.
BYU is only undefeated against one of these teams. I would love for that undefeated mark to continue against Oklahoma. Get to 3-0. And along with senior night, yes, maybe BYU's playing for bowl eligibility, but just to welcome the Sooners in and then send them off to the SEC with a big old fat loss as they go into their big money scenario and BYU moves on in the Big 12, I think that would be fantastic. BYU also is going to be playing against Dylan Gabriel for a second time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
5'11".
I would love for Keaton Slovis to be the guy that outplays Dylan Gabriel, who is projected by some, if not to be the best quarterback returning in the Big 12, one of them, along with Jalen Daniels at Kansas and Quinn Ewers at Texas.
I think his production is one of the best. I don't think he's one of the best.
We are not completely sold on him.
If you put Dylan Gabriel on UCF, he's not talked about in the same way as Oklahoma. He's got some awesome weapons. We're hoping that Keaton Slovis is really good at BYU and that he wasn't a product of NFL guys around him his freshman year at USC. We're confident that that is not the case, that he will be a good quarterback independent of that situation. Granted, we hope BYU's successful O-line, a good running back in Aiden Robbins, and some good receivers obviously coalesce in a way that's awesome. But in both of these games, Spence, BYU, not even close to being considered good win probability.
No.
5% at Texas. What are they playing at Georgia?
Was it like 18% against Oklahoma?
18% against Oklahoma. Like, that one is weird. BYU's at home. I'm not sure Oklahoma is going to be amazing. Listen, Oklahoma's been a way better program than Texas the last 20 years. Like, not even close.
100%.
Not even close. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and like the New Year's Six appearances for Oklahoma is like ridiculous. Oklahoma has like as many New Year's Six appearances as BYU has like WAC titles. Like just a stupid amount. They are so good. But last year didn't have it. Did not have it. Will they struggle again? Will BYU be in a position at the end of the season where they are healthy enough, where they are motivated enough? Perhaps they need it for bowl eligibility and senior day, and that's enough, right, in terms of motivation, that you get one of those wins. The toughest road environment the BYU faces this entire year is at Texas. Like, that will be hard. At Arkansas is tough.
It wasn't tough in 2014.
Well, not when you put up 41. Like, but here's the thing. In 2014 and 13, BYU had an NFL backfield in Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams. I dare say the best quarterback running back combo BYU's ever had.
Does BYU now, though?
Two.
Do they have NFL players in Keaton Slovis and Aiden Robbins?
Listen, BYU hopes that. We hope that. But we need to see that. And in late October, how beat up is BYU? In late November, how beat up is BYU?
That's why I would
concerns.
guarantee the November one. It's like, who knows what BYU is. But if I'm guaranteeing it's so late in the season, like, just figure out a way to win your senior night game. And you brought up a fun angle within the Texas-BYU rivalry, if we're calling it that.
There's not one.
The Sarkisian factor is also interesting.
And Sark, which, by the way, talking to an assistant coach with the women's volleyball team, David Hunt, he said, Sark's the best. He said, we love him here. He could not be nicer. He said, we'll bring women's volleyball recruits, say, hey, we got one this weekend. He's like, bring him on in. I want to talk to him. So he is the best. And we talked about how much we love Sark here, too. So
holy cow.
That angle, obviously, is going to be a
6-1 combined BYU is against these two teams.
Unbelievable. Can Colby Clausen run out the flag against Oklahoma? Like, Colby Clausen, by the way, is working with the sports medicine department.
I think that's an obvious choice, right? Let's just make that happen.
He is the one bringing out the flag.
Speak it into existence. Colby, you're going to be carrying out a flag.
And he brings out like a sling and just like hands it to the Oklahoma sideline.
He runs over to the sideline with a sling, a ceremonial sling.
Give this to Sam and that AC joint. Okay, topic 2. That would be so bad. Topic 2. BYU opens up as a 23.5-point favorite from DraftKings, 24 from Caesars, your favorite Roman betting source. Point favorites against Sam Houston in the opener. What do you make of that line?
E2 Brute? I think it's fair. Sam Houston.
That big's fair?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's fair. The juice will be high for BYU for sure in early September, and you're asking a team that's making the jump. This is their first FBS game ever, and it's on the road in Provo the year that BYU goes into the Big 12.
It's a P5 team.
It'll be a sellout crowd. I mean, people have been clamoring. Clearly, they feel strongly about having a spot in LaVell Edwards Stadium for this year and season tickets and all that. So I think it's fair. Yeah, I mean, maybe I thought, probably 20. So it's a little bit higher than I thought it would be.
I feel the same way. It's a touch high.
Like 20 or 21 is probably where I would have put it, but it's not so egregious that I'm like, oh my gosh,
if it was 30?
It's like, whoa, that's a little bit too much.
Certainly hope BYU wins the game by that much.
I'd probably put it at 21, but this is a good opportunity to remind everybody what could have been here, okay?
Yep.
Remember when Tennessee was slated to be the team that was opening up the season in Provo?
Would you want that right now, by the way, given how tough the schedule already is?
I don't think so. I don't think I would prefer that BYU opened up the season with Tennessee with so many new parts.
If you took Arkansas off the board,
maybe.
I would say yes.
But you got to play at Art, 2 SEC teams, and then 9 Big 12 games?
Yeah.
No.
Too
much.
Eliminating that one. Well, BYU didn't do it. Tennessee bought it up. But yeah.
And BYU got paid for it, so win-win.
Well, they're giving it back. A reported 1.2 to Mr. Sam Houston. This is a battle of two men going at it. Brigham Young versus Sam Houston. Okay, yes, new FBS team. They're in Conference USA now. Don't forget, in 2021, in the spring, this team went 11-1. And then in the fall, they went 10-0 and won the national championship. Like, this was a really good program.
For sure.
2022, they struggled. They were 5-4, but they did hold out their top receiver and arguably their top linebacker.
Okay.
So they are going to play those guys. They have the WAC Defensive Player of the Year, fun WAC connection, obviously, in Kavion Gaither. This is a team that really struggled last year on offense, but defensively only gave up 20 points a game. Like, they have some ballers on defense. So for BYU to be a 24-point favorite, listen, in the first game, certainly hope that. Traditionally, in the first game, especially with the new QB, you don't score as many points as you think. I'd love to think that BYU gets into the 40s in this game and holds Sam Houston something like 14 or 17, and then you're sitting around that 23.
Hey, if it's a 35-10 game or a 38-13 game, awesome.
I'd take that right now.
Yes.
And then the next week, you tune up again, FCS opponent Southern Utah. Now you got a real test at Arkansas, and then you're into Big 12 play. This is as good of a sort of ramp up, by the way, as BYU has ever had. Obviously,
I love the slow build.
SCU first would have been preferred, but I don't really care. You have a winnable G5 game, you have an FCS game, and then you have a P5 game. Like, this is the perfect ramp up. And then Arkansas is the toughest opponent in terms of physicality. You're going to play for a few weeks because they got Kansas, Cincinnati. I'm hoping BYU can win both those games and be sitting at 4-1 with the one loss at Arkansas. That would be the most ideal situation. Then you only need 2 wins in the next 7 to get to a bowl game.
If you go and beat Arkansas and you're 3-0, now you cut yourself a little bit of slack going into Big 12 play. It's
my gosh.
Maybe you lose at Kansas, but then come home and beat Cincinnati, you're still 4-1.
Right, but you're not going to take a loss at Kansas if you win at Arkansas. Like, emotionally. You're going to be like, whoa!
That's because BYU would be ranked in the top 20, and it's
slow down.
This is what BYU has done.
Yes. Yeah, way to wear that T-shirt and rile the people up. You know
it was a calculated effort today.
And it was a WAC schedule. BYU ain't in the WAC. You know who was in the WAC? Sam Houston.
Sam Houston. Yeah,
going to be in
absolutely.
Conference USA.
This line is so unique, Jarom, that it also brings about a very interesting stat of the day.
It's the BYU Sports Nation stat of the day.
So it turns out, courtesy of our friend Mitch Harper over at KSL Sports, that this is BYU's largest Week 1 spread against an FBS team since 1989, in 34 years.
How much of this is Sam Houston stinks versus BYU's a P5 team now?
Probably a little of both. BYU did it against New Mexico in 1989. New Mexico was a terrible team.
They opened the season with a WAC game.
Yeah.
It's a weird deal.
Yeah, and BYU did that
sophomore year.
in 1990 as well against UTEP.
Right.
Yeah, before they played Miami.
Football is weird 30 years.
Very different 11-game schedules. What is that?
They didn't have TV money like now.
Yep.
Yeah, there were a lot of different things. Yeah.
So this is unique.
Like,
This is a healthy line for BYU, one that's 34 years in the making in terms of just how big the spread is.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think 0-1 against Tulane, obviously a huge result there, but BYU wasn't expected to be that good. So, yeah, and BYU's not expected to be that good this year. I think this is an indictment more on Sam Houston's sort of 5-4 record last year.
Yeah, having to play on the road in Provo.
Yeah. But listen, this is a team that's, again, competed for FCS titles, has a lot to prove, held out a couple guys. Could be a little more interesting than we're hoping for. As long as BYU wins by 17+, I'm good in this one. If BYU does not cover that, but they win by 17, and they score at least in the 30s, then I'm good. But we are going to react strongly because we're going to say, well, this leads to this in Big 12 play, no matter what in game 1. No matter what. Like if BYU wins 31-17, we'll be like, 17 was too many. You didn't score enough. If you give up 17 to Sam Houston, what are you going to give up to Kansas?
Well, you just put out the curse of 17+, so now BYU's not going to win by 17+.
Should I go back and detail all the times 17 didn't do anything? By the way, Saturday I was calling a rugby game, and I tried to jinx the kicker by saying all the stats.
You couldn't do
still
it?
made it.
He still made
so
it.
As soon as he made it, I go, chalk it up for the announcer jinx doesn't exist.
Okay.
Got it. Come on now.